20 minutes. But photos is a lot more chill.
Let me know when you want to sound check. Everything's set up for me.
Fix up my car a bit and then get going. What have you been up to today?
No, just this.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, when you're ready, we'll test the audio.
Good afternoon, regular speaking voice. I've got your input as input number 4, quite low. Okay, bit louder, bit of a test. Loud voice. Too much?
No, that's good.
That's okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
great. I've got myself way up in my own ears. Have you ever worked with double tap? Or only the sponsors? Oh, they do a bunch of stuff. Their studios are right at the airport. So Australia. Good afternoon from Seymour Shore Park. It's NPL Men's at New South Wales, and we're getting to the business end of the season, round 26, as the Sutherland Sharks host Wollongong Wolves. An absolutely vital game for both teams. Wollongong starting to lose touch with the finals race, while for Sutherland Sharks, they currently hold the much envied Australian Championship qualifying spot by sitting fourth on the table, the highest of the non-foundation members. And if they can control their destiny from here, it does mean that spot in the Australian Championship will be theirs. However, easier said than done. They are coming off a thrilling win against Rockdale Illingdon last week that put them into that position. Wollongong, by contrast, they are down to ninth on the table, 32 points, 4 adrift of Sydney FC, who are yet to play this weekend. This is just the second game of the round to kick off this weekend. No game on Friday. Let's get into the teams. Sutherland Sharks make just the one change. Brendan Gann is out suspended. He's been replaced by Seungju Choi and Daniel Nizic, their goalkeeper, in the number 1 shirt. 3 Yanni Nicolau, 4 Tice Van Amerongen, 5 Jordan Perez, 6 Riley Hollingdale, 10 Tariq Meyer, 11 Seungju Choi, 14 Matthew Yerman, 15 Jamie Pachevsky, 19 Diego Benilla, and 21 Nicholas Olsen. For the Wollongong Wolves, their starting goalkeeper, number 19, Max Cuniel, number 2, Jake Shaked, 3, Jude Christie, 4, Dylan Ryan, 5, Banri Kanazumi, 8, Sebastian Duarte, 10, Flynn Madden, 11, Sebastian Hernandez, 24, Lockie Scott, 25, Alex Mashavecchio, and 44 is Yuto Fujita. That's 3 changes to the starting 11 for Wollongong, with Shaked, Duarte, and Madden coming in. And they've totally overhauled the substitutes bench as well. Today's referee is Adrian Arndt. We will get to the benches of both teams after we have kick-off here. There were morning showers, but they've passed and we're in perfect conditions. A mild August afternoon at Seymour Shore for a 4 p.m. local kickoff. And it's going to be Wollongong in the red, attacking the right of your screens to get things started here. Lockie Scott to take kickoff. Round 26, the final 5 games of the home and away season. And Sutherland looking to put a big down payment, not just on a finals place, but on the Australian Championship spot today, as they play first this weekend. And Rockdale, who are 3 points behind them, have Manly United later this weekend, and that will be a tricky task as well on what will be a bumper weekend of action. So let's just take a quick look as Sutherland play around the back line at the benches for both teams. Sutherland backup keeper Samuel Smith in the number 12 shirt, 2 Lachlan McDonald, 17 Richard Shawecki, 18 Jean Fiorese, 22 Ty McGowan, 40 Lucas Webber, and 44 Bryce Harrison. There's a midfield battle here, and Hollingdale is going to send it out to the right flank. And perhaps the first attack of note, not quite unfolding just yet. Nick Olsen coming off a hat-trick last weekend, plays it through the right. Bonilla, and he's not able to find a deflection. The ball goes out for a goal kick. So the Wollongong Wolves bench completely overhauled today. Jacob Hastings, their goalkeeper. Jack McClatchy is back. 13, Hugo Cornish. 14, Willem Robard. 15, Christian Butkovich. 16, Lucas Trajewski. And 77, Dylan King. So Matthew, Beatty, Yamamura and Ball are all out of last week's team that were defeated 2-0 by Blacktown City. They are actually winless for 9 in a row now, the Wollongong Wolves. They haven't had a win since round 16 when they beat St George FC. And in that time, they've had 7 defeats and only the 2 draws. So their form has been absolutely sour. They went from really contending for finals and attaching themselves even to the very outside run at maybe joining the top 3. An early free kick here might be able to set the tone for the day as it's headed away by Matthew Yerman. The acquisition from the MacArthur Bulls. Now down the right, Seb Hernandez not able to get a great deal of headway. So even though it's relegation form for Wollongong. They were on such an impressive streak of good results prior to this collapse that they have only sunk to 9th place. 32 points. They'll be safe from the bottom two. 15th currently occupied by St George FC on 20 points. And with only 5 games to go, obviously, they're not going to make up a 12-point differential, never mind all the teams that sit in between them. And they have an early corner kick here to be taken by Yuto Fujita, mid-season arrival from Sydney Olympic. Corner taken short. Scott not able to fashion a pass into the penalty area. Fujita plays it back to the right. Alex Mashavecchio, 5 goals this season for him, just one behind Scott on 6 as the team's top scorer, while Fujita has 6 across his 2 stints. Scored 4 at Olympic and only 2 for the Wolves since arriving, but he's going to win the ball here. Fujita plays it to Lockie Scott. Wollongong have had a bit more of the ball in the opening exchanges here. As you can see, we're looking into the setting sun just above the pavilion, slightly off to the right of screen. It'll be down well and truly by full time though, so the lights will have to come into effect. As we see a first time ball in from Hernandez, it lands at the top of the box. Madden with a volley. And he puts it wide, and it was probably going high as well, but Wollongong have just started a little sharper through 4 minutes here, and Sutherland not quite switched on in these opening exchanges. Sutherland's form has been inconsistent. They had a real breakthrough win here a month ago against RPL Leichhardt, only to then really let it slip, all the momentum they had by losing away at Manly United and then drawing here against Sydney Olympic on their last home game week before last. And they were 1-0 down to Rockdale last weekend, largely being outplayed, only to equalise right on half-time and come storming over the top in the second half. So they have been a bit of a roller coaster team at times this season, the Sutherland Sharks, and yet they very much lay claim to being best of the rest, sitting 4th at the moment behind the 3 clear title contenders. Not spending much time on the ball here, though, the home side. Here's Fujita. He's in shooting range here, Yuto Fujita. Scott wants the lateral pass. Fujita goes all the way and puts it over the bar. Really good chance as it unfolded. And the Sutherland midfield disappeared there, allowing Yuto Fujita to have an uncontested run to the edge of the box. And that is a gilt-edged miss. Healthy crowd has come in here at Seymour Shore. I got here just over an hour before kickoff and was actually shocked at how empty the place was. Normally there's a curtain raiser on and a bit of buzz building, but the fans have come in late today, and it is yet another healthy home crowd. The Founders Bar is completely full. That balcony is absolutely packed this afternoon, and there's not many spare seats in the grandstand either, which means there's a good, healthy number of fans milling around the fence and around the outer side. The word is out that Wollongong were in town and that Sutherland Sharks at home is a good day out. And they are one of the leading teams in the league for attendance this season, the Sutherland Sharks, and it looks as though today is going to be no exception, because I look over to the ticket booth and there are still fans walking in, not even 10 minutes into the contest. So, long throw being attempted here by Jordan Perez. Rising to the header is Dylan Ryan. Sutherland trying to immediately win the ball back through Perez, and he sends it back to Hollingdale in the defensive half. Now Yanni Nicolau over to Yerman, the former Socceroo. Plays the ball to Tarek Meyer, and now Nick Olsen. Banri Kanazumi in position to win it away for Wollongong. Shaked all the way back to Yerman. Shaked, who went off injured 3 weeks ago against Sydney Olympic, has returned to not just the matchday squad but starting today. And Sutherland getting a feel for the ball. Pachevsky and Tice van Amerongen. Part of a back 3 today for the Sharks. And expect Perez and Nicolau, who's about to receive the ball here, to play almost as full-time wingers. It's a sweeping cross, too close to the goalkeeper, and young Max Cuniel is able to make the save. He's come in since Daniel Solsky left to go to the Perth Glory. The sun has just dipped behind a cloud, and it's got a little bit cooler, mid-teens here at Seymour Shore today. Here's Scott wearing the captain's armband for the Wollongong Wolves. Switch of flanks. Seb Hernandez can't resist the invitation to shoot from distance, and it was always hooked wide to the left. I see the Sutherland Sharks documentary crew are here at the ground as always. The latest episode of The Rebuild dropped during the week. Feature game in that one was the big 3-1 win away at University of New South Wales. Matches in progress today. Western Sydney Wanderers are taking on University of New South Wales. That was in the 3 o'clock kickoff. I can tell you that at half-time, Wanderers lead UNSW 1-0, so that does have some relevance to the Wollongong Wolves, because Wanderers are one of those teams battling for a final spot. They started today on 32 points, just like Wollongong, only with a goal difference 16 better, so effectively worth a point of its own. So that's not necessarily a favourable result there for Wollongong. They need to take care of business, of course, themselves today. Sutherland building through the right. Choi plays it back to Hollingdale. Now Pachevsky. Perez conceding some ground. Only one other game in first grade today, and that is St George FC against SD Raiders. That's at 6:30 p.m. at Barton Park. And they've got a bumper Sunday coming up as a result with 5 games. Here's Choi through the right and intercepted. Attempted long clearance, not getting enough momentum on it. Olsen back into midfield for Hollingdale. Now Choi. You can hear the voice of Sutherland coach David Perkovich carrying across the pitch as the crowd hushes ever so slightly. Choi conjures a ball to the edge of the penalty area, and a tough one to do anything with for Tarek Meyer there, and it runs on harmlessly to the goalkeeper. Shaked turns back inside. Kanazumi. Jude Christie. Sutherland happy to stand off. No press at the moment. Just watching the ball be knocked around. Now Kanazumi tries for the incisive pass. Scott holding the ball up. Christie knocked away from him. Sutherland win the ball. Can they pounce on the counter? Meyer, neat little sidestep, and he sees the run of Choi through the right channel. Early ball. It's going to clear Diego Bonilla in the middle and find its way out for a goal kick, but it's just an example of how the tactical cat and mouse might be playing out in this first half. How badly do Sutherland want the ball, I guess, is the question, watching them stand off Wollongong there and watch them wait to give it away so they could pounce on the counter. Crossfield ball here. Hernandez, first time cross, and that will lead to a corner kick. Another set piece opportunity for Wollongong, having already won the first corner of the game. So here comes Fajita with an out-swinging corner. And Nizic has got to go. It falls in the 6-yard box. And the referee is going to pay not just a foul, but a yellow card here against Jake Shaked for how he went in on the goalkeeper, Daniel Nizic. First booking of the game. There's a bit of panic ever so slightly. I wonder, is it for the high boot or was it for a bit of before the corner interference? I think it is for the high boot, the foul and the yellow card. But Shaked, interestingly, floored his opponent in the build-up to the corner there and was able to have that uncontested run at the ball as a result. So something to watch at set pieces and corners in particular for the Sutherland defence, perhaps. Cleared by Nizic from the restart after the free kick. Van Amerongen plays it back to Nizic. Now Yerman. Olsen picks up the ball, but immediately under pressure from Flynn Madden. Back to Pachevsky. Now Van Amerongen. Again, he's asking for someone to present in midfield. Bonilla, the striker, comes deep and lays it out to the right. Nicolau able to chase down the ball. Yanni Nicolau running at the penalty area. He doesn't quite get a clean cross away because Seb Duarte was able to guard him every step of the way. And Sutherland have a corner kick now at the opposite end. So as the game ticks up to 15 minutes, first corner of the game for the Sutherland Sharks. Plenty of tall targets to aim for. Tice Van Amerongen has been a set-piece danger this season. Choi with an in-swinging corner, and that is an easy catch and a confidence builder for the Wollongong goalkeeper, Max Cunhal, as he skies the clearance away. Nicolau heads it down. Flynn Madden wins the second ball. He's got Mashavecchio advancing on the left channel here. Little back heel, able to bring Fajita into play. Yuto Fajita from a standing start, got a cross in. Pachevsky, very tall target to get past at the near post though. Wollongong will seize back on possession with Dylan Ryan. Shaked. Good run here from Ryan. Scott, the back heel on, and Fujita draws a save out of Nizic. Oh, good play by the Wollongong Wolves. You wouldn't know that they were on a long winless streak with how they've started this game. And Yuto Fujita in particular is causing headaches, and he's able to draw a good save out of Daniel Nizic, who parries it and out under the awning of the balcony of the Founders Bar. Wollongong will have a corner kick. Short corner. Mashavecchio plays it back to Fujita. Flynn Madden in space here. Does he take a long shot? He does. It's low and skimming and ultimately wide of the target. So Wollongong have still created the best of the chances here. However, they haven't been able to convert. They did win 2-1 when these teams met earlier in the season. Banry Kanazumi and Lockie Scott, the goal scorers. While Nick Olsen scored against his former club for the Sutherland Sharks. Olsen having made that move in the off-season. Long ball here. Nicolau, no one to cross to in the middle. And has he been able to at least win a corner? He hasn't, but had he got his head up, he wouldn't have seen any blue shirts in the penalty area there. It was a great pass from Jordi Perez. It sent him away, but almost a little bit too quickly. And so from the centre of defence, Benri Kanazumi starts another move for the Wollongong Wolves. And the Sharks again happy to lay in wait and stand off almost to the halfway line. Here goes Dylan Ryan. We saw him link up with Scott very effectively a moment ago. Offside flag is going to trap Yuto Fujita this time, though. Daniel Nizic is directing traffic. He wants players to switch flanks because he is indicating that he is going to go direct across the pitch here. And he's at least attempting to. It's going to land in a central position. Up goes Kanazumi, wins a towering header. Answered by Van Amerongen. Now Olsen out to the right. Choi knocks it back to Nicolau. Nicolau with Van Amerongen. Just getting tangled up a little bit, but he was able to dink it back to the Dutchman as he went to ground. Bonilla, a long way from the goal, he's attacking. Plays it to Olsen. He's got Perez on the switch. Out to the left flank here. Perez hits the ball in stride. Great touch initially. And then he just couldn't bring it under his command thereafter. He brought it down nicely. But then the touches 2 and 3 just kept the ball running away from him. And that allowed Kunyil to come out and take the ball off his toes. Just wonder if Sutherland are missing the midfield presence of Brendan Gann, out suspended for this one. They've brought in Seungju Choi, and he's playing on the right side of midfield. And maybe the word might come for one or both of Olsen and Hollingdale to take up a more advanced position to support the attack here. Vania has looked a little isolated so far. Tariq Meyer might have got the shot. Here we go. Ask and you shall receive. Look at the numbers closing in here and winning the ball high up the pitch for the Sutherland Sharks. It was unfolding before our eyes as Hollingdale, well, decides to just concede a little bit of ground here. Perez. Meyer had been taking up a spot on the left side of attack. Here he is on the ball. That's a casual pass, giving possession away to Scott. Lockie Scott bustling forward and tried to play it to Fujita. It just went off the heels of Yerman. Didn't even have to be looking at the ball to defuse the attack there. Followed on by Duarte. And it's going to bounce down along the line and eventually out for a throw-in. You can see the tables and the fans milling in front of the fence there. Caught between the grandstand and the VIP. And the Wolves on tour, the Wolf Den. Great to see, even in this rotten run of form for the Wollongong Wolves, that the hardcore fans, and it's their shortest away day, so they should be here. Of course, the Wolves have had some well-documented struggles with trying to find a home ground of their own, so a short away trip today. Good opportunity to get out and watch the team. Here's Madden. Over the head of Yerman. Brought down by Nicolau. And he sends the ball to Perez. Perez cuts back inside. Choi misplaces a pass. And that gives the ball straight to Dylan Ryan. Long ball from Kanazumi. And he's looking for Seb Hernandez, who's getting forward in the middle for him. Yerman has followed Hernandez over to the wing. Hernandez tries to dance. The veteran defender having none of it. The trickery didn't really get going there. Back to Shaked. And he goes back to Kanazumi. Now Wollongong have to concede ground. Max Cunial plays the ball out to Shaked. Just a tumbling pass into midfield accompanied with an apology. Tariq Meyer. Now Hollingdale. Here is Hollingdale on the ball. He actually was the feature interviewee of the Rebuild documentary, the latest episode released during the week. Sutherland Jr. Probably one of the reasons that the crowds are so good, bringing along the juniors that he coaches to watch the seniors. As we see a through ball here from Olsen. Benia accelerating, and he lashed it. Tried to beat the goalkeeper at his near post. Didn't twist it back enough around towards the target. And Diego Benia, who has only scored the one goal since arriving during the transfer window, but it was a very important one against RPL Leichhardt here a month ago. But he wants more. He wants to add to his tally. So we're just over a quarter of the way through the day's action here at Seymour Shore. The lights are starting to come on. The sun has been behind a cloud for the last couple of minutes and will inevitably set here. Nicolau directing traffic, and Choi still on the same wavelength at the moment with his teammates. He goes trying to slide in to win the ball back here, but can't quite work it out. Certainly until last week when they lost to Blacktown City, Wollongong, they may have been on a winless run, but they had scored 7 goals in the 3 games prior to that, albeit only having 1 point from a possible 9 to show for it. So they do pose a goal-scoring threat. You can understand Sutherland being a little bit cautious with not wanting to give the Wolves the confidence boost of the first goal in the game, especially given how well Wollongong have started this match. We haven't seen any real significant shift in momentum just yet, as Scott leads the press from the front. Throwing down the right sideline. Fujita plays the ball to Mashavecchio. Back to Ryan. Now Kanazumi. Meyer has decided to lead the press a little higher once again. And quickly, the Wolves are able to sort it out and find some breathing room. Bouncing ball on the synthetic, sitting up for grabs there, and Wollongong trying to win it away. Keep the ball is the shout you can hear coming from David Perkovic on the sideline. Scott in a bit of space here. Game opening up for him. He plays it across. Duarte. Conceding a bit of ground, and Ryan was just wrong-footed by the pass, so the speed of the attack slows ever so slightly. He's going to play it back out to Duarte again. And conceding ground to Kanazumi. Look at this, Olsen now leading the charge for the Sutherland Sharks, and Shaked has no choice but to play back to his keeper. It's going to be a full field press here. The word has come from the sideline as we approach the half-hour mark to just try to turn the heat up a little bit on the visiting team here. Luke Wiltshire, the Wollongong Wolves coach, remains seated at the end of his team's bench, watching on. I think he'd be pretty happy with how his team has started as he plays ball boy here. The iconic former Socceroo, veteran of multiple World Cups. Throw in, Scott tumbling, holding up the ball brilliantly, and now switching over to Hernandez. Sebastian Hernandez to Flynn Madden. Scott, the return pass, and just a step too late was Madden. Meyer knew exactly where it was going and was able to slide in. Long ball here, and a raffle between defender and keeper, but they work it out. Christie. Madden. Ball out to the right. Hernandez, can he keep it in? No, he can't. Opportunity missed there for the Wollongong Wolves. Just couldn't stop the ball against the line. And it ran out for a goal kick. Just a murmur around the crowd at the moment. The home side yet to really bring them to life and into the game here. Lots of eager fans watching on in anticipation, though. Long ball out to the right here. Header on by Nicolau. Bonilla. Is this the moment for the home side to strike? Diego Bonilla. Squares it back. Choi. Choi with a bending shot. And the goal arrives for the Sutherland Sharks. Seongju Choi puts it across the keeper. And an attack of purpose makes it Sutherland Sharks 1, Wollongong Wolves 0. Well, he had been struggling to get into the game a little bit, Seongju Choi, but when the moment called for a finish, he produced it. And his celebration was one of relief rather than an outpouring of happiness. It's his third goal of the campaign. First time he's found the back of the net since netting a double against Western Sydney Wanderers about 2 months ago, back in round 20. And he will be thrilled about that. Here he is on the ball. Well, he turns right into trouble. But they had lacked a cutting edge in this game, Sutherland Sharks, and Seongju Choi has provided it. And now, perhaps, with a bit of momentum behind them, things could really accelerate now. Wollongong were good for the first half an hour, but they didn't take the brief chances that presented. So, what's Wollongong's response here? Here is Choi again, of course, known to many, known to almost everyone as Danny Choi, of course, but he's in the dribble system this season under his Korean name. Olsen, a little gliding ball on. Choi. Well, Wollongong have almost completely given up any possession since conceding the goal here. Sutherland full of confidence, but they're not going to make the most of things here. Perez can't find a gap. Madden backtracking. Hollingdale. I've got news of a goal around the ground. UNSW have scored an equaliser against Western Sydney Wanderers. A draw would hurt both teams today in their battle for the top 6, and well, in UNSW's case, it would still be a very handy point as they move ever closer to mathematical certainty that they will return to the division next season. But if they had won today, UNSW, they could have dared to dream like many teams who are currently in the 30s. If they come from behind to win, you just never know. That game is at the 70-minute mark, a little bit ahead of this one here. And St George against Southern Districts later tonight, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. Shaked. Ryan's pass, pushing through the left. Mashavecchio, flag up. He thought the whistle was going because he was grabbed, and it would have been a free kick, but no. It's a offside call right in front of the travelling Wollongong fans. You can see we've got the two banners out. A few red shirts there, and they'll be hoping that their team does have a bounce back in them in the final 10 minutes of the first half here. Otherwise, it's going to be 10 without a win. All the way back to round 16 when they beat St George 2-0. Christie to Scott, and now a clearance that's high and accurate from Christie. He finds Seb Hernandez. Two-man press here from Sutherland. Can't win the ball. Nicolau and Choi both fall out of the way, but no such trouble for Van Amerongen. And now Choi to Olsen. Flag is going to go up here against Tarek Meyer. Gee, tight call with the naked eye. He goes and lobs it into the net, but the whistle had long gone. We are off on the slightest of angles here in the scaffold on the outer side, so got the benefit of a replay. Our assistant referee over on the other side does not. Just going to have another look back here. Nah, good call. Good call by the referee. Tight call, but a good call. Now long ball back the other way. Fajita, good control to bring the ball down out of the sky. Choi wins the ball back. He has absolutely come to life in this game ever since scoring the goal. You can see the value of confidence and what it's done down this right wing for the Sutherland Sharks. Christie plays the ball back to Ryan. Ryan with a switch of flanks over to Shaked. He can exploit some space here. He's got Hernandez even wider. Seb Hernandez goes to work. He's got three defenders looking at him. And the cross not able to get the better of Pachevsky. That perhaps has been noticeable since about the 15-minute mark that the chances have dried up for the Wollongong Wolves. They are taking on a tall and intimidating back three today. Van Amerongen, Pachevsky and Yerman, centimetre-wise, would probably be three of the tallest defenders in the league. Never mind out there at the same time. Nicolau conceding some ground to Van Amerongen here. Now Choi pops it back to Van Amerongen. The clearance was not convincing. Scott able to win the ball back, plays a quick 1-2, trying to step through traffic, and across comes Tice Van Amerongen, and he wins the ball and floors the man, and he's able to clear that situation up. High ball, Meyer gives possession back to Yerman. Choi, he's got Benier in the middle, Perez making ground on the left, and Meyer at the top of the box. Can't find any of them. Good defending again coming from Duarte. He's guarded that left back corner pretty well, given the amount the ball has gone down that side of the pitch so far in the game. And And the long throw specialist, Jordi Perez, knowing to come across and hurl the ball in. He's going to go right to the perimeter fence here to get himself a run-up. And his target inside the box is Jamie Pachevsky. Here comes Perez with the long throw. Van Amerongen there as well. Madden's header away. And the clearance straight onto the head of Nicolau. Hollingdale. Flynn Madden's taken a heavy landing, but the ball is whipped up quickly to Fajita. He doubles back, just takes some time. That allows the defence to get in position behind the ball. Fajita clipped into the box by Christie, and maybe just a bit of a hit and hope. That pass, and easy pickings for the goalkeeper, Daniel Nizic, who came out to the ball. Meyer, Hollingdale. Choi had to lunge after that pass. Possession given up. Scott looking to get something going. Mashavecchio through the left. A burst of acceleration leaves Van Amerongen in his wake. And the outside of the foot cross was a delight. And it really should have been an assist. Yuto Fajita missed the tap-in in the middle. And Alex Mashavecchio's enterprising work goes unrewarded there. And that is frankly the best chance of the game, and it hasn't hit the back of the net. What an assist that would have been for Alex Mashavecchio outside of the foot pass. Was it just bouncing at an awkward height there for Yuto Fajita? He just missed the ball. Simple as that. And perhaps we've just seen the frailty there of Sutherland's lead. For meaty challenge here, and Christie is not going to be booked, but he went right through the back of Hollingdale in the air. Hollingdale is quickly picked up by his teammates. Christie wisely leaves the scene quickly as we tick into the final 5 minutes of the first half. Nizic with a high clearance. Ryan setting himself. Uncontested header. Flicked on by Christie. Returned by Pachevsky and Hollingdale in concert. And now Choi. Meyer trying to bring the ball to ground. Able to turn and face. Hollingdale has got Nicolau over on the right side. Nicolau looking for Tariq Meyer with the cross, and it's going to come unstuck and roll out for a goal kick. Half-time of this game is going to marry up perfectly with the final 10 minutes or so of Western Sydney against University of New South Wales, but there's also been a red card for UNSW. So 1-1 with just over 10 minutes to go in that game, even though UNSW are down to 10 men. Long ball here, Fajita trying to make amends for his miss a moment ago, taking on Van Amerongen, and this time the towering defender is able to lunge in and clear. That ball has clearly bounced out of the venue because we're having to retrieve one from the opposite side of the pitch to have Wollongong ready to go with this throw-in. Scott able to control the ball eventually. Olsen comes in. Ooh, and a wild tackle coming in there from Duarte. Referee lets it go. Maybe just missing rather than collecting Nicolau as he cleared the ball. Bit of fortune there. Here's Shaked. Hernandez breaks right, gets some separation. Hernandez Cross to the near post is dealt with by Pachevsky. And he clears to the safety of the line. Wollongong looking to make their move and strike before half-time. Crossfield ball from Christie is going to be to no great effect and runs out for a goal kick. And that will suit Sutherland just fine. First header Christie's. However, Perez interrupts the ball, not effectively enough though. Here's a chance from Hernandez, batted down by Nizic. The follow-up from Scott, it's hit his own teammates. It hit Fujita, and then the cross in from the left is held on to. The crowd enjoying the thrills and spills as Nizic drags down that ball and denies Mashavecchio on the cutback. Well, the shot came in there. It was well struck. And Scott lathered it right into the back of his teammate. You saw the number 44 on the back of Yuto Fujita and shot it straight into him. Wrestle on the wing. Nicolau took Duarte to ground. Time the enemy of the Wolves here. How many minutes of stoppage will they get at the end of the first half? They are on top in general play at the moment. Hernandez, into the box he goes. Madden can't control a forcefully hit pass. Olsen trying to escape. And now it's cleared away by Nicolau, only as far as Kanazumi. Ball out to the right, Hernandez. Fourth official's gone and grabbed the board. Wollongong build-up continues. Fujita. 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. Signalled by Oscar Stewart, the fourth official. Of which we've had 30 seconds expire already. Here's Choi, the goal scorer. Oh, Hollingdale slipped over at the key moment as he was confronted by Kanazumi. And Yerman was there to bail him out. And safe to say, Sutherland need half-time to arrive here because Wollongong have turned up the heat quite effectively, just not to the perfect effect yet. You hear the cheers of the crowd as the ball rolled down the roof of the pavilion and fell into the front row. I must say, from here on the opposite side of the ground, the pavilion looks quite modest. When you're in it, especially if you're up in the back row, it feels a lot fuller than it looks than looking towards it from the outer side. And speaking of the outer, there would be at least 200 fans, if not more, milling around on the bench seats here on the outer this afternoon, which just goes to show what a great job Sutherland are doing getting fans through the gates. Will the home side make it to halftime with their lead intact, though? This free kick here should be the last chance for Wollongong to level it up before the break, and they've committed numbers forward. High looping ball over the head of Kanazumi, hooked back by Shaked. Oh, players from Sutherland in each other's way. Arguments for a handball. Perhaps it was off the upper arm of Pachevsky. And as the 2 minutes of additional time expire, Sutherland lead, but it is far from a secure position. They are 1-0 up thanks to Danny Seongju Choi and his third goal of the campaign. However, Wollongong had the best chance to score of either team. They just didn't take it. And the match remains very much in the balance. So you'll see stats and highlights during the halftime break. And when we rejoin you in about 12 minutes, we will pick things up with a halftime score here in NPL Men's New South Wales of Sutherland Sharks 1, leading the Wollongong Wolves 0.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through Raffletix. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Commanding punch. O'Driscoll's touch for Chipman. And the ball's good. O'Driscoll lays it off for Burgess. And the deflection takes it in. Set piece not dealt with. And Manly United draw first blood on Friday night. With de Robillard. And Ono, who's always an attacking outlet from left full back. He goes for goal himself. Not dealt with by Curto. And tapped in by Coop. And Manly are now full of confidence. Evans down the right. Coop there again! 2 in 2 minutes! They're still providing enough going forward to really look an attacking threat. De Robillard on the ball. Looking for goal himself. And it's going to be tucked in by Holm.
First time ball trying to pick up Meyer. Figueira hit it straight into him. Can he get it past him? Franco Meyer. That is an exceptional finish. Good ball in, and the header from Kenesi. What a finish. Risky pass there, almost getting a foot was through for Aramugo. They've done it. Robert Aramugo.
Pavlovich. Katrip's got a little bit of space here. Mustafi watching, waiting for the right time to approach. And now he engages. Katrip with a burning bit of pace. And it's a great goal for the Wanderers. Awan Lawal stoops in to head home. But first, this free kick. Anderson back. Hangs it up. And the header is in from Morrison. 2 for the Wanderers. And coming in to pick the pocket cleverly. That's well done by Chetinich. Pavlovich returns it to Chetinich. It is 3 for the Wanderers. Deliberate. Here's Petratos, all given away by Armson. Pearson Kasawaya breaking forward. He feeds it through Awan Lawal. Only one outcome when Awan Lawal has the ball in that territory. And it's 4 for...
Out to Michael Cooter, and Rory Jordan's off and gone down the outside on that left-hand side as he's tracked across by Lockie Campbell. Looks to hold him up. Rory Jordan, well, 33 seconds in. They transitioned like lightning down the left there. Mount one more raid on the NSW defence, and it gets a deflection on the way through. And I think you'll find Presley Ortiz, as he looks to make it 3 for Apia. Presley Ortiz, he doesn't make mistakes from there. Presley Ortiz gets number 2 of the night. Falls short there, and he's onside. Presley Ortiz as he skips towards the 18-yard box, tracked by Campbell. 1v1, Tristan Prendergast. Presley Ortiz gets his hat-trick. The attacking players in teams that get all the kudos, and they look to pinch one back now. Union NSW.
Webster wide for Saba. Towards the line he goes, takes on McGing, works it in. There's bodies there. There's a goal to St George City. There's the opener on 48 minutes.
though Sutherland really aren't controlling the midfield at the moment as Najjar breaks forward. Tamulkovsky puts it past Nizic. Interesting starting position of Tariq Maya on the edge of the area. Olsen steps up. And Olsen strikes it down the middle. Sutherland are level. There it goes. Cuts it back. Olsen arriving. Olsen buries it bottom corner. Some finish from Nick Olsen. Arriving late to the scene. Jordi Perez now to seal it. 3-on-1. Perez has Olsen to his left. Olsen for the hat-trick. And the win. Sutherland make it 3-1.
Fujita. Luke Wall gets a touch, and now Major can look to play it forwards. That's an excellent ball. And a chance to shoot Kunyul. It's gone through the goalkeeper, and it's an early lead. Malia. Dipped onto the crossbar. Qual with the header, and it bounces in. They have a second goal. Blacktown City. And
So, welcome back to Seymour Shore Park, where at halftime the home side Sutherland Sharks enjoy a 1-0 lead against the Wollongong Wolves, a lead that has been in jeopardy, and even when the game was 0-0, Wollongong were shading the chances, you'd have to say, but a moment of decisiveness from Danny Choi is the difference between the two teams here. And as we kick off the second half, with Sutherland attacking towards the new pavilion end, the absolutely packed balcony of the Founders Club will be watching on, cheering that ball into the net, hoping that there will be more. Wollongong, they are trying to get something out of this game, trying to break a 10-game winless streak if they can turn this around completely, but even a draw would be just enough to sell some belief that they can hang in there in the top 6 race. We've got a full-time score already come through. Western Sydney Wanderers have enjoyed a 2-1 win, a late winner by Giorgio Hasarati against University of New South Wales. Stay with his free kick as Banri Kanazumi heads away. And now Flynn Madden, stopped in midfield by Jamie Pachevsky. Here's Tariq Meyer, plays it to Riley Hollingdale. He's caught in a 2-on-1 trap. And now Scott bides his time on the ball and waits for the runners to break. Mashavecchio was his hope, but the ball runs down to Daniel Nizic. Seemingly no substitutions at half-time. But yes, Western Sydney Wanderers beating UNSW 2-1. So Wanderers improve to 35 points, and that puts them within 1 of 6th placed Sydney FC on 36. Sydney FC play against Blacktown City tomorrow. So an extremely close mid-table. Sutherland at the moment would have their head above the parapet. They would be improving to 42 points if they go on to win this game. And amazingly, they would be the only team in the 40s, with the top 3 all beyond 50 having broken away. And then the chasing pack, none of them can reach 40 points by the end of the weekend. So Sutherland would be off on their own little island if they can go on and win this game. But it's easier said than done based on what we have seen in the first half. So here's a long ball from Matthew Yerman. Tariq Meyer off and running. There were appeals for offside, but the ball never arrived thanks to Kanazumi's header. Olsen. Ball played back here to Pachevsky. He accelerates. Choi. Hollingdale looking to stick a 1-2. Ryan intercepts. Now Flynn Madden out to the right side. And it was a promising first half from Seb Hernandez. And he's back to work here in the second. A low scuffed cross, though. Can't bring his teammates into play. And it's cleared away comfortably enough by Yerman. So the throw in, brought down next to the right corner flag. Cross lifted into the box for Wollongong, but it's all Sutherland at the fall of the ball as Van Amerongen clears away. And now an aimless touch of the ball, which will bounce out for a goal kick. With that goal in the first half, it makes it 12 consecutive games finding the back of the net for the Sutherland Sharks, something that they weren't immune to in the first half of the season. They did draw a blank on a few occasions, which is why they've had to make this late run. They haven't really been able to latch on to the title chase, but they're certainly now looking at locking down best of the rest, and 4th place would be good enough for the Australian Championship, because the 3 teams above them were all foundation members: Sydney United, Marconi and Apia Leichhardt, meaning that Sutherland, as the highest non-foundation member, would be invited to participate in that competition at the end of the season. Scott turned right into trouble, had Meyer right on his case. Volleyed on errantly by Christie. Hernandez takes possession. Seb Hernandez trying to weave through midfield. He's surrounded by numbers, though. And Sutherland's defence was up to scratch there, and Hernandez perhaps taking it out on Nick Olsen as he runs through the back there, and it's accompanied by a quick apology as he gets him back to his feet. Here's Hollingdale. Pachevsky. Van Amerongen. Now Yanni Nicolau. 5.5 minutes have ticked by. Doesn't appear to have been a material change to the patterns of the game. Wollongong still have a looming presence to them in this match. The question is, can they score? Through comes Nicolau, wins the ball well. Sets Choi away down the right side. Choi keeps the ball in. And now darting towards the penalty box, it's Choi. And he had stars in his eyes there as he puts the ball well high and wide of the top left corner. Oh, risky, bobbling, short pass for the goal kick, but it's calmed down here. Ryan. Choi, to the edge of the box. High bounce. Nicolau's got the height advantage against Madden. Van Amerongen. Hollingdale. Olsen. Nicolau's tucked into a central position here. Tarek Meyer, the cut across, and good hands from the goalkeeper, Max Cunyal, to stop the ball, finding a Sharks player in the middle. Had to make that save. But that is the best moment of the second half for the home team as they grow back into this contest. Who will turn to the bench first? It's a totally new-looking bench for the Wollongong Wolves today. They made 3 changes to the starting 11. They made an additional 4 changes to the bench. Kanazumi looking for Hernandez. Oh, it's a teasing run. Now he brings the ball under his control, but Perez is right there guarding him. Madden, Perez, and gives away the free kick. It's a set piece in a dangerous position. Think back to the first half with the incident that led to the only yellow card of the game for Jake Shaked. There was a block that allowed him a clean run at the ball. Are we going to see more of that set up here from the Wollongong Wolves? Could a free kick be their way to draw level? So Yuto Fujita, can he turn provider here? Wipe the slate clean for his miss in the first half. One player in the wall. And a line of attackers ready for the Wollongong Wolves. Fujita, out-swinging free kick, go over the head of Ryan, in fact, and Van Amerongen was able to win the header away. Mashavecchio's pass back into the box, just beyond the run of Duarte. And even though he lunged after the ball, he wasn't able to affect it as it rolled out for a goal kick. Sun not totally down yet over the skyline. The lights are on here at Seymour Shore, but it's a mix of evening twilight and the artificial light here. 4 p.m, almost a perfect time. We've had some 6 p.m s here at Seymour Shore this season, but another bumper crowd today. Fans voting with their feet. And, why wouldn't you move kickoff a little bit earlier, given we are in the middle of winter at the moment? The rain has stayed away. There were morning showers around, but not to jinx it, they have stayed away during the afternoon. So we see a long ball here to Pachevsky. So it bobbles on the synthetic, and now he tames it and sends it long. Over the head of Bonilla. Had one chance at the first half, Diego Bonilla. It was on a tight angle, and he couldn't quite twist it back towards the near post, but he's been largely isolated in the game so far. Hernandez, he's a lone hand out on the right, and he's showing a turn of toe. Ended up running at Olsen and wins a throw-in. And he bounces up to take it quickly. And Christie is hustled off the ball. Olsen trying to capitalise in the other direction. Madden backtracking. Christie gets another chance. Bouncing ball, Van Amerongen around the corner. Not a great deal of distance on it though. Leaning into the header was Madden. He got it to Scott. Lucky Scott here. Waits for Duarte around the outside. A decoy run. Scott cuts inside and the gap is eaten up by Pachevsky there. He must have damaged his shirt in the first half, Jamie Pachevsky, because he's come out wearing the number 42 in the second half here. Got a number 40 Lucas Weber and a number 44 Bryce Harrison sitting on the bench for the Sutherland Sharks today, but Pachevsky is a towering figure. He's unmissable. They haven't pulled a Swifty on us with a half-time sub. He just must have had his shirt torn or bloodied by something during the first half, and so he's now wearing the number 42, if you're wondering what the story is there. Meyer. Now Nicolau. Hollingdale. Olsen. Clips a ball. Choi making a promising run. Couldn't bring it down with the first touch. And across comes Duarte to clear it away. Right idea though from Nick Olsen, and Choi was nearly able to pull it off. Would have been quite the move. So Perez, we've seen the long throw a few times in the first half. It was all from the outer side where he would have to run across and take the throw from the opposite flank. Now it's on the flank that he's actually playing on. Gets plenty of distance on it. Ryan has read the playbook, heads it away, and now it's cleared emphatically by Shaquette. And the counter could be on here. It's 3-on-3 if the Wolves are quick enough. Fujita plays it out to Hernandez. Scott and Fujita ahead of the ball. The return pass here is just a bobbler, under hit and cleared away, and the moment passes. And we're not going to see counter on counter here because Wollongong left plenty of numbers back in the defensive half. But again, as long as the game lingers at 1-0, Wollongong will have a fundamental belief that they can get back into this game. Sutherland would love a second just to really demoralise the Wolves here. Nicolau dancing on the ball. Can't get past Duarte. Plays the ball back. Hollingdale touches it to Van Amerongen. Choi, the goal scorer. Tries to change the speed of the attack. Hollingdale, Nicolau back in space. Sweeps in a ball! And it bounces through the box. Benia's lunging. Not able to collect it. And it's put out for a corner kick by Shaquette. Diego Benia just a split second behind. And the ball went past him before he could get there and make ground. But again, another promising attacking opportunity for the home side. You heard the oohs and ahs of the home fans. So, corner kick for the Sharks. All the tall timber forward. In swinger to the near post, headed away by Ryan. He's just had them covered in the air today when it's come to the set pieces. Dylan Ryan. Ball back through the left. Second opportunity here. Hollingdale left the ball with Meyer. Now he wrestles back into possession. Van Amerongen looking for the flick header on. And the ball will pop up and Max Cunhal will come out and hold it on one bounce. Madden trying to flip the field, but can't get the better of Perez. He had Hernandez covered. Good duel between those two throughout the course of the night. Long ball diagonal out to the left. Perez juggling to his own advantage. Puts it into the middle. And Kanazumi puts it out onto the boulevard. That one cleared the entire pavilion. Watch out, motorists that are driving past the ground. And the ground announcer trying to rally the home fans here. I had 3 really young kids shout up to the scaffold at half-time asking if I could get a Mexican wave going, and I said, no, the ground announcer's on the other side, kids. You've got to go around and find him over there. So maybe they've finally found him. Look at this. He's trying to get the Let's Go Sharks chant going, and the kids are responding. And it is one of the striking things about coming to this venue, just how many young fans there are. It is extraordinary. They've really carved out a great home atmosphere in NPL Men's New South Wales, the Sutherland Sharks. Can they turn that little rally into a goal? Here's the short corner now. Olsen back out to Hollingdale. With the angle, he loops it in, and it's an easy catch for the keeper. And Amarongan was trying to outmuscle his opponent, but to no great effect. Mashavecchio had gone sprinting out to the left flank there, but the ball was rolled the opposite way. He's calling for it. He's over in space right under our camera position, but the Wolves are building up steadily through the middle in the meantime. Ryan back out to the right. Hernandez left the ball behind, opens the door for Hollingdale. He affected the pass in the end, and now he's going to get it back in the other direction. Referee, no thoughts of a foul. Madden through ball. Scott flag up, and Nizic made the save anyway. Off the chest there of Nizic. He made himself big. And again, another reminder that the Wollongong Wolves are not going anywhere in this contest. They haven't turned to the bench just yet. Looks as though Sutherland might be the first to act. I can see one player warming up over on the outer side. It might be, at this distance, Richard Shawecki, who's scored 6 times this season as the team's second top scorer. Long ball right to the edge of the penalty area from Nizic. Scott has got to go to work against Olsen, and yeah, I think he's right to be blowing up there. He was being grabbed, and he gets the free kick. Restart from Kanazumi, switching flanks, Mashavecchio. Bouncing ball to contend with, and also the defending of Yanni Nicolau. Christie, Scott, hard contact through the back from Van Amarongan. Bonilla, twisting and turning. Oh, and he's wiped out late. And a bit of chippiness getting into the game here. Just same phase of play. We've had Van Amarongan come through late on Scott. And we've had Duarte here come through late on Bonilla. And referee Adrianata's just got to get things under control, because what had been a largely well-behaved game is just starting to get a bit of chippiness, and a yellow card is brandished here. So second booking of the game. Seb Duarte joins Jake Shaked in the book, and substitutions going through here. It is going to be the goal scorer, Seongju Danny Choi, making way, and on comes Ty McGowan. So like for like in terms of wingers. Choi's goal, the only strike of the game so far. And McGowan, who has 2 goals this season, 1 in the league and 1 in the cup, will be coming on here. Treatment has been administered for Bonilla. He doesn't have to leave the pitch, of course, because there was a yellow card shown on the play that hurt him. As we tick up to 20 second half minutes gone, we've seen the first sub of the game, and it's the goal scorer Choi, replaced by the number 22, Ty McGowan. Choi, straight down the rooms. Of course, he's had well-documented injuries, so perhaps part of the plans to go and get him immediately started on his recovery. Hopefully, not a fresh injury. Nothing to indicate out there that there was. Olsen brings the ball down. Hernandez into the middle. Mashavecchio. He can take the game on here. Wants to force it through a really thin gap for Fujita. Now he's back in trying to win the ball. McGowan's first involvement is to draw a free kick. So straight into the thick of the action. Kuchevsky plays the ball out to Perez on the left. Banamarongan, Olsen, switch over to the left, Perez, he lunged up for the ball. That really would have tested the flexibility of the left hamstring there as he tried to rise to it, but it just got the better of him and out it went. Attempted long throw. Header back and forth here. Banamarongan hooked on and out for a goal kick. Madden knocks it down to right back. They're going to have to play their way out of trouble here. Flynn Madden's going to be key to it. Scott looking for the little back heel there as Hernandez went motoring past. And he wasn't able to connect. It is going to be another throw in for the Wollongong Wolves though. Brought down by Fujita. He sets Hernandez away. Is this the moment for Wollongong? Oh, what an anticlimax. It's gone ballooning out off the right foot of Seb Hernandez. It's only Scott in the middle, but I think it is eagerness just to make ground to the ball. He skied it, and out it went. Launched by Nizic. Nicolau has to work to keep it in. Off the chest, Mashavecchio. The backtracking Meyer. Able to consolidate the ball in Sutherland possession. Perez in a duel. Out comes Christie, bursting forward. Fujita. Duarte. Concedes ground. Kanazumi. Shaked out to the right side. Madden was in the middle, but that's well read by McGowan. Now a long ball down the left, conjured by Olsen, hurdling on. Bonilla kept it moving. Tariq Meyer sees Yanni Nicolau advancing. Nicolau at full speed. And the excitement of the moment was too much to resist. And the ball has gone deflecting off a vehicle that went driving past on the boulevard. It's hazardous out there tonight. Thankfully, the car was not distracted, or the driver was not distracted by the ball flying out onto the road behind the right of screen goal. So it's end to end at the moment. Here's Hernandez again. Can he get it right with the cross? He gets a cross in, batted down by Nizic. Fujita, here's Duarte. Duarte clips it in, hoping for Scott, couldn't find him. Yerman wins the header, and now Yerman just casual. That's one way to keep your teammates relaxed. He blazes the ball away. And Tariq Myers at the fall of it. He cuts it back to Olsen. I'm not sure Matthew Yerman's heart rate even accelerated there as he shut down any danger there that the Wollongong Wolves were posing. But as the night works the way towards its conclusion into the last 20 minutes, the Wolves have sent their bench to go and warm up. If they score one, they will absolutely believe they can go on and win this game. They have been at the precipice of scoring a goal for so much of the night. Olsen. Oh, able to slalom through midfield. And a grab of the shirt from Lockie Scott. He will do well to avoid a card. And the referee sees fit just to award a foul instead. Meyer turns, plays the ball to Hollingdale. Olsen, little pitch wedge over the top. Headed down, second ball, Nicolau regains his balance, lays it to Tariq Meyer, sees Bonilla on the right side. Diego Bonilla cuts onto his left, veers out to open some room, and the ball falls in the box. Here's McGowan! Ty McGowan makes it 2! And just when it looked like the Wollongong Wolves were making their move at an equaliser, Sutherland double their lead. It is a second league goal of the season and third in all competitions for Ty McGowan. And the route to goal has been through initially Choi and then the man who replaced him in McGowan. They are the scorers for Sutherland tonight, the only sub of the game to have entered the action. And he comes to great effect here. And with just under 20 minutes of regulation to go, that could really be a hammer blow to the Wollongong Wolves. As long as it remained at 1, they were a puncher's chance. Now, they look like they're on track for consecutive 2-0 losses. And if they do lose tonight, it'll be 4 consecutive defeats and 10 consecutive games winless. And Sutherland want to keep the momentum pumping. Nicolau, he hurdles past Duarte, who's on a card now. And it's going to be a free kick. It's coming back. Seb Duarte, of course, has to be careful. One of 2 players out there on a booking. So these subs that Wollongong are preparing might be too little too late now. It would require them to come from the clouds. And every set piece is again a chance for Sutherland with their aerial threats, Van Amerongen, Yerman and Pachevsky to leap at a cross. Hollingdale and Olsen are the 2 options. Olsen decides to shoot on target, and it's just a grubber, which is easily held by Kunyal. And with an overarm throw, he sets the ball away. Out to Fujita. The pass into the middle is a little aimless. Nicolau turns and knocks it back to Daniel Nizic. Nizic. You know he's got a rangy left foot. Looking for the most recent scorer in McGowan. Now a long ball for the Wolves. Pachevsky, back pass. It's going to... I think there was late contact. My eyes had left, but it's going to be a free kick in the defensive half for Wollongong Wolves, and that's going to be accompanied by a double substitution and also a change here for the Sutherland Sharks. It's the end of the game for Jake Shaked, is it? No. Looks as though it's Tariq Meyer who's coming off first. He'll be replaced by Richard Shawecki. And it is Yuto Fujita and also Jude Christie who are coming off here for the Wollongong Wolves. And their replacements will be Dylan King. And bear with me, it will also be Lucas Trychevsky. So Christie and Fujita off for King and Trychevsky for the visiting side, and for Sutherland, Tariq Meyer making away for Richard Shawecki. And Shawecki is now leading the line. I wonder if that means Bonilla will play any deeper or if they are going to a front two rather than Meyer, who was playing out on the left wing, or if Bonilla will now be coming in from the left. 15 minutes of regulation to go and a corner kick here for the Wollongong Wolves. And given the aerial prowess of Dylan Ryan in this game, you would think that is where they are going to be aiming this corner kick. Played short. Ball cut back. First involvement in the game for Trajewski. His cross was a little shallow. Perez clearing it away. And now sweeping his left foot through the ball is Duarte, but it goes high and wide of the target. Nizic going for distance every time now, seemingly. Shawecki, first involvement for Richard Shawecki off the bench. He cuts out to the left. Perez there in support. Shawecki on his right foot. Well, he puts it wide of the right-hand post. You can see that Sutherland now with a 2-goal buffer are going to finish this one a lot more confidently. If they go on and win by a score like 3 or 4-0, it wouldn't really be reflective of well over an hour of the action, what we've seen with our own eyes, but it is a results business, and right now the result is tilted sharply their way. From the right, Scott trying to bring his teammates in, but that one will roll out for a goal kick. Don't forget, one other game coming up later tonight, St George FC against SD Raiders at 6:30 p.m. You can watch it right here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And the earlier result, Western Sydney Wanderers earning a 2-1 win against University of New South Wales. As things stand, the Sutherland Sharks would be improving to 42 points, 6 clear of Rockdale Illingdon and Sydney FC, and 8 clear of Manly United. So they would have a very handy gap inside the top 6 and a handy gap to the Australian Championship spot as well. Substitution for the Wollongong Wolves. Willem Robard has come, Christian Butkovic has come on here. And that is for Dylan Ryan. So they want a fresh defender on for the end of the game. Perez. Almost caught in possession by Trajewski. Still Perez hurtling forward. He goes tumbling out of the way. As he gets back to his feet here, he'll see that his team is still in possession. Pachevsky over to McGowan. Nizic switch of flanks, and well, he's overestimated Jordan Perez's height there and sailed that one into the Wollongong dugout. Bouncing ball and a real tangle for possession. Wollongong win that little duel. Can they use the ball moving forward though? Mashavecchio. Shaked down the right side. Hernandez lifts it across. King challenging. First time we've really seen him heavily involved since coming on as a sub. But he wasn't getting much change out of the Sutherland defence. Hollingdale. Now Perez. Down the touchline under the grandstands. Madden. Kanazumi. Into the last 10 minutes of play. Scott turns, holds off an opponent, and he's legged as the ball finds Kanazumi. Excellent finish. Wollongong Wolves back in with a shout. Really strong centre forward play from Lockie Scott. You'd expect nothing less. And Banry Kanazumi with a striker's finish. The defender roaming forward. Well, Lockie Scott maybe had a trailing arm that caught Riley Hollingdale there, but it certainly didn't attract the attention of the referee to blow him up for a foul. And Banry Kanazumi only had one goal for the season coming into today. But if they're going to throw caution to the wind and go for it here, why not him? Because those goals have come now home and away against the Sutherland Sharks. So it's clearly an opponent that he likes the look of. And with just under 10 minutes to go, now there's real tension back in the game. Make absolutely no bones about it. Almost every team further down the table would be hoping for a Wollongong comeback here. Rockdale, Sydney FC. I'm not sure about Manly United, because if Wollongong get a draw, they would move to within a point of Manly, but of course they would also stop Sutherland breaking away. So I assume that Manly would be on the bandwagon. And I reckon Wanderers, given that they've already won their game today, wouldn't mind a Wollongong comeback as well. That is how close it is. Those are the consequences for a win versus a draw versus a loss in the mid-table mix. And Wollongong now, can they use the momentum of just having scored? They're going to cough up the ball here. Benia running straight into Butkovic. King backtracking in a sea of legs. Who's going to extract the ball? Butkovic did enough. Nicolau. Olsen. Hollingdale. Happy to slow it down to Yerman. Hollingdale, Olsen. The touch inside was clever. Hollingdale keeps it moving. And the ball runs out into open space, easily collected by Kunyal. Yerman. A solid challenge from Benia. Shouts for handball against King, and they have merit. Free kick given against the forward. Nizic with the restart. Butkovic was calling for his keeper. Instead, he's going to get his pocket picked here, but Flynn Madden first to react, and he works the ball through the right channel. Mashavecchio there in support, bouncing out for a throw-in. The intent of Wollongong is obvious. They want to hurry this game up here. Sutherland trying to respond. Hooked away by Kanazumi, brought down by Hollingdale. Olsen. He generally gets better as the games go on, but that pass not able to bring his teammates into play. Kanazumi. Tumbling, bouncing ball. Scott grabbed, scragged by Van Amerongen, and a wide free kick for the Wollongong Wolves. And their attempt at a late heist here continues to have promising signs. So Alex Mashavecchio has the free kick. Plenty of numbers committed forward here for the Wollongong Wolves. Big defensive stand for Sutherland, and the free kick is too close to the keeper. And that is a letdown as far as the Wolves are concerned. And Daniel Nizic will not mind fielding free kicks like that. He goes for a roundhouse clearance. Deflecting off Kanazumi. Ty McGowan. Is he able to break through? Duarte gets goal side of him. McGowan on target and held on to by Kunyal. Well, that was a decent little chance for Sutherland to close things down and make the point safe. Hollingdale got a backtrack here. He's going to be caught in possession. Lucas Trajewski wins the ball away. He breaks through the left, cuts it back. King blocked. Oh, that was vital. Matthew Yerman in the right spot when Sutherland needed him. And they nearly found a way through there for the equaliser, Wollongong. Big aerial duel. A break even. Van Amerongen volleys clear. Shaked. Out to Hernandez. Flynn Madden turning through the middle. And the ball is cleared away by Pachevsky. Vukovic up for the header. Wollongong have got one more sub. Hugo Cornish. Limbering up, about to come on. Mashavecchio. It bounces through the area and had to be cleared away by Yanni Nicolau. It's out for a throw-in. Right down next to the left corner flag. And this sub will go through here. So Wollongong. Last change. They're going to take off Jake Shaked and bring on Hugo Cornish. Cornish has scored just the one goal this season, but he is thrown on here as the last hurrah for the visiting side. Can they grab a point? Can they grab more if they equalise and we get a big chunk of stoppage? Scott bundled to the ground, and he is starting to draw free kicks with regularity now. Van Amerongen might be wearing him closely, but it gives another set-piece chance. Mashavecchio, who burnt the last opportunity, has been taken off free kick duty. It's going to be Flynn Madden instead. So, Flynn Madden over the free kick. Little back heel through the penalty box from Nicolau, and it's out for a corner. It was an improvised clearance, but effective enough. And Hernandez sprinting over to the corner and placing the ball. Seemingly no hints at a short corner here. He just wants to deliver it. High looping and falling onto the head of Pachevsky. Scott loads up a volley, blocked away. Important from Van Amerongen. And now the long shot is bombs away from Mashavecchio. High, wide and harmless. And that, if Daniel Nizic manages the clock here, will take us into the last minute of the 90. Time very much Wollongong's enemy here. Have they left their run too late? Nizic is going to use every second the referee will afford him here. One more sub being limbered up over on the sidelines by Sutherland to waste a bit of time as we get closer to the fourth official signalling stoppage. A third goal would make it a moot point. Vukovic through with a header. Hollingdale brings it down. Now Olsen, McGowan. Blocked away. Solid header from Hollingdale, but intercepted and cleared by Mashavecchio. And it's a foot race here. Hernandez versus Perez. And Perez wins the race, and Hernandez is left in his wake. And he's down two. A heavy landing. Well, that was a big moment. It was a sprint between Jordi Perez and Seb Hernandez, a duel which has endured over the course of the night. And Perez got there first, and Hernandez maybe just an awkward landing on his arm or shoulder, but he has got back to his feet here. The time-wasting sub continues to wait in the wings for the Sutherland Sharks. We're seconds away from the fourth official, signalling how long to go. Nizic clears. Kanazumi misses the interception. He's able to make ground and clear it forward though. Over the shoulder, blind pass from Nicolau. Duarte all the way back to his keeper. As we tick into stoppage time, fourth official yet to hoist the board. Long ball for the Wolves. Trajewski outpointed in the air by Yerman. And then Perez clears down the line. Bouncing ball down the right. Run out for another Sutherland throw. This will suit them just fine. Ball hugging the touchline. Down the line it goes again. Shawecki making a contest. McGowan pops it out in front. And a slide challenge from Kanazumi. Clears it away from Richard Shawecki. 1 minute of stoppage time expired. Fourth official's been preparing the board for this sub, so I don't think we ever got a look at how many minutes of stoppage to go. One final sub. It's going to be Lachlan McDonald coming on here, and he is going to replace Yanni Nicolau. So this will waste another 30 seconds here for the Sutherland Sharks as they make this last change. Nicolau comes off, and on comes McDonald, like for like over at right back. Shawecki out off the attacker. The ball is going to go Wollongong's way. The travelling fans still hoping that they can leave with something from Seymour Shaw Park this evening. Well, that pass from Trajewski just a little hard to run down and reel in. We've played 2 additional minutes beyond the 90. Perez, long throw, hugging the line, flick header on. Shawecki made a contest, appeals for a high boot. Scott, through flies Hollingdale. Scott made the ball his own. Really good play from the Wollongong captain. Out to the left side, nearly. McDonald's first involvement is to win a slide challenge, but his work isn't done. He's isolated 2-on-1. But the ball is going to be cut inside by King, and then a misplaced pass from Duarte. Straight to McDonald, and that's what the Sharks needed. Ball long, Shawecki brings it down. This would be the knockout punch here. Shawecki bursts into the box, and he's ushered wide. They take it to the corner. You can hear Nizic shouting, corner, the goalkeeper down the field, but his teammates aren't listening. They're circulating it back into open field here in the middle. Pachevsky, 3 minutes of stoppage ticked by. Perez, and he's just going to offer it up to the goalkeeper here. Wollongong, still a chance. A lot's going to go right for them from here though. Kanazumi. High ball, King wins the initial header off Van Amerongen. It's going to sit up at the edge of the box here, and it's Duarte. He leaves it, the strike is blocked away. Hernandez took a flyer, and now Madden following up. Nizic has got to go. There was going to be backspin on the ball, and he read it well enough in the air and collapses onto the ball to bring it down. Nizic takes his time. 4 minutes of stoppage ticked over. Sharks down the right end. Ty McGowan's goal, the winner as things stand. And the ball is cleared out for a throw-in. We tick into a 5th minute of additional time. Wollongong still a chance. Van Amerongen wins the initial header. King volleying it on. Scott. Now Duarte rolls into the middle. Hernandez is free over on the right. Madden. Oh, Hernandez had to backtrack there. And now as he takes possession, Perez is goal side of him. He gets across, which deflects out for a corner kick. Goalkeeper Kunyal is waiting for instruction whether he comes up or not. Yep, well, the corner's been taken quickly. It's a waste. It's a waste. It went out for a goal kick. I mean, Nizic took a clean catch regardless, so it matters not. The Sutherland Sharks move one step closer to locking in the Australian Championship. They go 6 points clear of Rockdale in the gap between 4th and 5th. And they are ever closer to locking in a final spot in NPL Men's New South Wales as well. For the Wollongong Wolves, it's 4 consecutive defeats and 10 winless now. And their tumble down the table continues. But Seymour Shaw gets the job done again. Sutherland Sharks, certainly not the dominant team in this game. Wollongong brought it to them every step of the way. And they leave empty-handed after the home side has battled their way to a very hard-fought 3 points. Goals in the end from Danny Choi and also Ty McGowan giving Sutherland the win. Banri Kanazumi grabbed one back for the Wollongong Wolves. On behalf of our broadcast partner, Sportscast Australia, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you for your company on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And we leave you with the full-time score. Sutherland Sharks 2, Wollongong Wolves